What's going on out there, America? How about that? Look here. I'm going to give a rundown on today's news and what I think about it. I'm going to start off from the newest and just run down the list. Toronto blast. Live updates. At least 15 injured in blast at Indian restaurant Bombay Bar. I think there were several people killed. I know that I think it was 10 people killed and it injured 15. They've released images of 2 suspects. They opened up a helpline. They got people, India commission people or whatever. They're helping people in India. Oh, she's a minister of foreign affairs. So they're reaching out, trying to help those people. It's a restaurant where people from India go to eat. I don't know why anybody would want to bomb an India restaurant to kill Indian people. It doesn't really compute with me. I'm not really sure. I mean, it could be, people from India infiltrate Muslim regimes a lot and give out information. It could have been something related to that, payback or something to that effect. Walk in wearing hoods and whatnot, which is common in Canada because it's cold. They say that 2 male suspects detonated an IED device inside an Indian restaurant. It's in Ontario province. So it's pretty wild. I mean, it could have been Muslims. Could have been Canadians. I don't know who did it. But if it was Canadians, it don't make any sense. I mean, the Muslims are the problem right now in the world, not people from India. People from India are generally pretty good people, and they're really, people from India are our allies. Just like Canada is Americans' allies, even though we disagree on a lot of things, and we like to, go back and forth about things. It's all in good gesture, I hope. Well, most of it. But India is also an ally of both Canada and the United States. So I don't know. I can't see that. That would take a lot of ignorance. Uh, Most likely, it's Muslims just being Muslims. The terrorists. That's what they are. And there's a lot of them out there right now. And so, sleeper cells. There's not really any more news about it right now. So, we got to keep an eye on that and just kind of stay updated about that story right there. Y'all remember the girl that white girl that claimed to be black, remember? That's so funny. She's now been charged in a welfare fraud case. Fraudulently filing for welfare. She got nearly $9,000 in food and child care assistance. Dalzell, who changed her name to, I'll spell it, Nkechi, last name Diallo, in 2016. So that's a good thing. You know, we're seeing a lot of people arrested who are criminals doing criminal activity in America now. We weren't seeing much of that in Obama's when Obama was in office. People were getting away with a lot of things back then, but now they're starting to prosecute people for all these wrongdoings. And so that's a good thing. You know, turnabout's fair play. Morgan Freeman apologizes after multiple women accuse actor of sexual harassment. Well, let me start out by saying that I have never liked Morgan Freeman for the person that he is because he's an atheist. So, you know, it's probably about par for course. His beliefs are wacky-doo. You know, he's flipped. As an actor, yeah, he's a good actor, but I haven't supported him in several years. I refuse to watch any of his movies. I will not watch any of his movies because he seems like the kind of guy that would be out there raping women and taking advantage of women on a movie set. Oh, you want to be in my movie? Well, you got to do me a favor, you know, that kind of thing. He's a flipped out wacky-doo guy. So I got no doubts about this whatsoever. So he issues apology now. I wonder if they're going to sue him over it. But I will say this, if it's just for comments that he made, like telling her she's good looking or he wish he could get some of that, that happens every day in society. Women do it to men the same as men do it to women. So I don't see any big deal in that. I don't think that's sexual harassment. That's just a person voicing their opinion, which is freedom of speech. So get a grip. That's what I'm going to say to those women. Now, if he was, you know, trying to get sex with these women in order for them to be an actress within a movie he's making or something like that kind of thing, well, then that's wrong, of course. So, but I'm not sure that's exactly what they're talking about. However, I wouldn't doubt it. It could go the way of Harvey Weinstein, though. Ooh, wish I had a beer tonight, but I didn't buy any beer today. Harvey Weinstein expected to turn himself in reportedly to face sexual misconduct charges in New York. Well, it's about time. That's a good thing. There's a lot of Democrats that are involved in a lot of sexual escapades, and they're going to jail left and right. And they're being charged left and right. And I think it's just a good thing. It's really a good thing that people are getting justice is being served now. Real justice, not fake justice. You don't see so much of the good people being wrongfully prosecuted, even though it's still out there. There are some bad judges like Kerry Walker in Fort Worth. He don't like straight people, but he's a judge in Fort Worth, Texas. I know him personally because he was best friends with my oldest brother. And of course, my oldest brother, he's gay too. So that's how I know him. And that's how I know what he's about. He's not really a tough guy. He just kind of thinks he is. But one thing about it, he does not belong as a judge. They need to get somebody to replace Kerry Walker in Fort Worth, Texas, because he is a perverted dude. He likes little boys and such. He just hasn't been caught yet. He'll do anything for sex. It's pretty much guaranteed. He can't resist it. You want to talk about a Marky Mark kind of guy? It's this guy right here. The only reason he's a judge is because he ain't been caught yet, but he might get caught since he became a judge. That puts him as a higher profile person, right? People can come out and start telling on him for what he is and who he is. And so they do exist out there. And there are judges, there are lawyers, there are police officers, and they need to be weeded out. Anytime you know about people doing wrongdoing, you need to come out and talk about it and let people know about it. And that's how you do it. But Harvey Weinstein got away with this for years because nobody came out about it until the 2016 elections. Thank God we got Donald Trump to run for office. Air Force uncovered a LSD used among airmen and guardians. Actually, they were selling drugs. It was a drug organized outfit. And this does not surprise me that people in our military are selling drugs. It's easy for these airmen to get. It's easy for them to get it and sell it. They've been doing it ever since the Korean War, right? The Vietnam War too. And what happened is everybody said, "Oh, it's the CIA. It's the CIA." Well, yes and no, but I'll tell you this much: it's getting cleared up under Donald Trump. You can bet that. And so they moved in on these guys and they prosecuted every single one of them. They've all been brought down. So again, thank God we got Donald Trump in there. Less drugs coming into America. Donald Trump is cleaning up all the past wrongdoing that we've been seeing. He's cleaning up, stopping the drugs from coming into America, and that's a good thing. There was a security guard, an armed security guard in an apartment complex who walked up to a couple in 2012, held a gun to the boyfriend and told him not to move and not to say anything or he was going to kill him. And he proceeded to rape his 14-year-old girlfriend. That guy has not only been found guilty, but now the company he works for had to pay a $1 billion fine to this woman who is now 18. And she, of course, took it back to court and thought she would do money from the company, and the jury agreed to the tune of $1 billion. Don't worry, it's going to be appealed, and the fine will go way down. It'll probably end up around $1 million or even less, $100,000. But they will appeal it and then appeal it again, and then you'll have your final amount. This is not over yet, but it is the highest ever awarded to a rape victim. That's a lot of money. And I'm not so sure that a security company should have to pay such large fines. I think this is a ridiculous fine. It's as simple as that. However, they are liable to a certain extent. I'll say that. This man right here should go to prison and never get out of prison. In fact, I believe in the death penalty. I don't believe in housing criminals like this. When you pull such a crime as to hold a gun to somebody's head and make them watch while you rape their 14-year-old girlfriend, this guy should be put to death. And the feds ordered California brewery to stop making cannabis beer. Oh boy, why don't they do it in a way that is legal? I don't get it. on that drug ring with the Air Force, how they got caught was funny because they one of the guy posted the paraphernalia and drugs on his social network site. How stupid can you be? I'll bet you that's not really how it happened. I'll bet that's just their excuse for being able to bust them up. Because, Donald Trump's people are on the hunt. But if that was what did it, well, there you go. Somebody on LSD thinking they can get away with posting such a thing. They claim that putting the cannabis in the beer, that people drinking the beer can't get high. And I'm like, what? Anytime you intake pot, whether you're drinking it or whatever, you're going to get high. So that's a lie. CBD beers. They were making it, of course, San Francisco. And let's get over here to Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was a great heavyweight champion in his time. In fact, he was the very best. And Jack Johnson was recently pardoned by Donald Trump, even though he's been dead for years. I've done all the reading on this guy. He was a great guy in his own way, but he liked to piss people off, and so he had 10 white girlfriends living with him at the time, and he loved to prance around town and walk in the front door when he wasn't supposed to, kind of thing, all that, and he got away with it because of who he was, and 10 years after he defeated the white boxer James Jeffries in 2010. So in 2020, he was convicted by an all-white jury of violating the Mann Act, which made it illegal to transport a woman across state lines for immoral purposes. So he had a girlfriend, and he goes from one state to the other, and he's, of course, having sex with her. I mean, who wouldn't, right? And he got convicted for that, which is ridiculous. And but it was a law back then. Of course, that's back when being gay was illegal in America. It's too bad they overturned that law, in my opinion. But there it is. They actually should have started enforcing it more and more, but they didn't. This one lady in question, Lucille Cameron, later became his wife. And so it's interesting that he had to go spend 10 months in jail for this. Johnson left the country over this after his conviction. He returned 10 years later and served his 10-month jail term. That's what took place. He got convicted. He fled the country. He came back 10 years later, served his 10-month jail sentence, and so it was about 1930. And then he got out, and then he lived his life on his retirement, and then he died in 1946. Of course, to make himself look good, it was John McCain who's been calling for Johnson's pardon. I don't like John McCain. John McCain is, as you know, he's a globalist. But just remember, it was Donald Trump who pardoned him. So that's a good thing. I always thought that he should have been pardoned for this crime. It's too bad it wasn't till after he was dead that this had to take place. But at least it took place. So Sylvester Stallone was also interested in getting a pardon for him. He was actually the main one pushing for it, of anybody who's not in government. A lot of people don't know that about Stallone, but I respect for Stallone for who he is in person because he's done a lot of good things like that. Donald Trump also pardoned another boxer, Lennox Lewis. For those of you that haven't read this full article about Trump's pardons, so I think it's pretty cool that Trump has done these things. It's just shameful the things that's been going on in America. I mean, but it's still happening today. A lot of these haters get into office and they do wrong things because they can. You get a gay guy as a judge who absolutely hates straight people, and you go in front of them in court, you're going to be found guilty of something. I guarantee it. Because they're not going to allow you any evidence, recording that you might have to prove you're innocent. They're not going to allow it. That's what's taken place in America over the past 30 years. So it's good that Donald Trump's in office and he's cleaning house as far as that's concerned. And the Boeing 777, they got a new, well, it's not a new version. What they're doing is they upgraded. They put on new wings. And what it is these wings, they fly up. They fold up. And it's just on the wingtip that they fold up. And it's a good thing because it allows them to have longer wings, and yet still they can fold them up and get into the bay without running into each other's wings. They need that. They need that space to be able to park next to each other. Whether it's maintenance, they got to get into a garage, whatever. This is Boeing's way of being able to build a better plane. So I think it's a good thing. Technology's coming a long way, and we're starting to even see it on a commercial plane. And I heard a man open fire inside an Oklahoma restaurant before armed citizen shoots and kills him. That's Oklahoma for you. And that's a good thing. There's a bat virus going around India right now. I'll say this, the more an area has bugs, the more you're going to see bats. We have a lot of bats, for example, down here on the border between Texas and Mexico. And a lot of bats. And the reason why is because there are a lot of bugs down here. And I've been killing them off here in my new place, and I'm going to continue to put out more and more traps uh, every month and every week, and I'm going to continue to do a lot to kill the bugs off around here as much as possible. I don't want to kill off too many because the bats need to eat too, but you're going to see more. There can be too many bats. Bats can live in areas away from people, and it's safer that way. Anytime you live in an area where you have more trash, where you have people that don't clean, you're going to have more bugs. And when you have more bugs, you're going to have more bats. Certain parts of India are just nasty. I've actually been to India, so I can attest to that. India's laws are way different than Americans as far as what they can and can't pass as law. For example, they don't have any emission standards in India. That's a major problem they need to fix because it's causing a lot of people in India to live a much shorter life. In the major cities in India, right now, if you go into a major city in India, you really need to be wearing a filter mask because the smog looks like fog. You can literally see a lot of fog. It's really nothing but emissions coming from these vehicles, and it's not really fog. It's basically a poison fog, and people got to go into major cities to work. And I can tell you that anytime you're around that environment, you need to be wearing a mask that will filter that out. It's just that simple. This particular virus, there is no cure. It's sort of like HIV. Once you get it, you got it. There's simply no cure for it. Nipah is mainly carried by fruit bats, and it kills about 75% of the people who get it. The Nipah virus can also be carried and passed on through pigs. Uh, in India, they have a lot of pigs, and it can be passed to humans from pigs. A lot of people aren't aware of that. And it pays to pay attention to this kind of news and to be educated on this kind of topics at all ages. And the younger you are, you can learn about this stuff, the better off you'll be in life. Because you'll learn things like stay clean. If you're clean in your environment, like in your house and outside as well, it helps the community to not have this kind of problem. It's just simple as that. I'm quite sure the virus can be carried by anything. So, but now that they have this problem, of course, in India, they're going around rounding up all these bats, trying to get rid of all the bats that have this virus. There's a lot of bats. So a lot of bats in India. Bats can be a very big problem. We're still hearing about Mueller. McConnell, of course, he got to get his ugly ass face in the news. He's a Senate Majority Leader, and he said he's absolutely not going to put forth any bill to protect Donald Trump from firing Mueller, because even if they passed it, why would Donald Trump sign it? He would have to sign it for it to become a law, and that's not going to happen. I'm sure Donald Trump's not going to sign a bill against himself, limiting his own powers like that. That would be like ridiculous. They don't think that Trump's going to fire Mueller anyway. Now, whether he does or not, that's up to Trump. And that's really up to Mueller if he's going to be a good FBI agent or be a bad one. If he's a bad guy and they find any kind of wrongdoing on his part, I'm pretty sure he's going to get fired. So, and if he doesn't do any wrongdoing, then there's probably not going to be any wrongdoing or firing from Donald Trump. So that has yet to be seen. And I really don't care that much about it because it's one of those things that I got faith in Trump to do the right thing. And that's pretty much all the recent news that I want to comment on today. I do want to say that I really am impressed with the new things that our military is coming out with. They're coming out with a lot of new technology. And some of that new technology is kind of like technology that we haven't even ever seen before until recently. I told y'all that it would be last year. I told you by this year they will be putting lasers on them jets, and I told you this year they're probably going to be on there within the next few months. And I was right. They're actually right now field testing lasers put on jet fighters. Currently, the way they have to do it is because of the size that the laser has to be. They're on the bigger planes, like the plane, the AWACS plane, has lasers on it now. And when jet fighters see another enemy plane or the AWACS itself, or once it's confirmed it's an enemy plane, they can aim it at one of those planes, and within a few seconds, that plane will explode, or it'll fall to pieces or whatever. And when a plane explodes like that, just out of nowhere, the squadron's probably going to turn tail and go back home. And if they don't, when the first one blows up, then when the second one blows up, they're going to turn around and go another direction, right? Because they're not going to know where it's coming from. And they're pretty much these days they're going to know. They're going to know it's a laser coming from about 20 miles out. The lasers on these jet fighters are going to be different because they are smaller. They're probably not going to have the range. They'll probably have about 10 or 15 miles range. And effective range anyhow, for it to be real effective and whatnot. Further out would take a lot longer to dismantle a plane. Obviously, because it's going to lose power further out. So, but I got a feeling you're going to see these lasers will have heavy defensive effects, as far as you can put them on the rear of a plane, and any plane that's not an American plane, it'll constantly be getting bombarded by a laser while the planes are maneuvering, so to speak. And even if our fighter jet gets behind one of their jets, that laser in the front can continue bombarding that plane with a laser until it blows up. So it's a heavy offensive weapon, a great defensive weapon, because it'll also be able to dismantle those missiles. Like a Sidewinder missile that gets shot at the plane, the laser would automatically start shooting that Sidewinder and blow it up before it hits the plane. So It's a technology that's going to change the face of air-to-air combat. Heavily change air-to-air combat. The new planes they're coming out with are going to be better than the F-22 and F-35. All the way around. The new tanks, I'm heavily impressed by the new tanks because the new tanks are going to have 5-man crews. There's 2 types that I know about that they're currently working on. Both of these tanks are going to replace the Abrams tank. And there's actually a third one that they're fielding right now, or starting to field, and that is the electromagnetic gun. Is going to replace our artillery. All of our artillery is going to be replaced by the electromagnetic cannons. That's a major change. Now, I don't know if they're going to get rid of all of them. Our 155 howitzers are probably still going to use a lot of those, but they're going to introduce the electromagnetic gun, which is going to be a major upgrade and will allow us to be able to fire further than the enemy. Right now, it's kind of the other way around. Both China and Russia, artillery shoots further than our artillery, which is sometimes could be difficult to deal with when you're in battle. They had to deal with that during the Iraqi war because Iraq had some cannons that can fire long distance, way longer than our cannons. So didn't do them any good, but it still is a tactical advantage. It just is. Their problem was they had no air defense. But you put us in a war with a country that can field air defense and you don't have total air superiority over a country, then you can't really take out all those cannons like we did against Iraq. You can't really take out all those ground-to-air defense systems because you're going to be, the area is going to be defended by the enemy fighters. And they're going to win some battles and we're going to win some battles. That's not air superiority. That's a war. It's fighting. In Iraq, we had total air superiority. So we could take out all of their stuff by bombing the hell out of them, which is what we did. And it was a constant bombing. Y'all all watched the war on TV. It was a constant bombardment, 24/7. And that's good because it saved a lot of lives. But our military is coming out with some electromagnetic guns. Actually, not coming out with them. They already got them. And so this year, you're going to start seeing those actually fielded to our military. A lot of our what's it? I can't think of the name of that vehicle, that tank that carries that 155 howitzer. A lot of those are being refurbished and new ones being made to carry the electromagnetic railgun. It's going to have a very strong charging system on it, which will allow it to fire a lot of rounds for a long time. Basically, it's going to generate its own power as well, and so it's just not going to have a need to go somewhere to recharge, so to speak, unless the generator goes out, and of course they'll simply show up with the crew and replace it. Simple as that. But they're also working on 2 main battle tanks that's caught my attention. So I'm always looking for news about them. And when it comes out, of course, I'm going to give my opinion on it. One of them is the 155 cannon. It's going to be put on a 5-man tank. There is no battle tank in the world that carries a 155 cannon. but you're fixing to see it. That is like, wow. So we're going to have the strongest armored tanks in the world with the biggest freaking guns on these tanks. There's no country that is going to want to see those tanks coming at them. And when they do, it's all over, baby. Because there is nothing that a 155 howitzer or cannon cannot blow up and destroy. Absolutely nothing. And even with the shorter barrel, the dang thing will be able to shoot 10 miles. So they're going to be shooting at us with those 120 millimeter cannons, and we're going to be shooting at them with 155 cannons. Their rounds are going to bounce off our tank, and our tanks is simply going to blow their tanks up. Boom, boom, boom. But even if they put double the armor on them tanks, a 155 cannon would blow it to pieces. Easy. Don't matter how sloped it is or any of that. It's not going to help them. 3 times the thickness up front is not going to save them. Not with a 155 cannon. Now we're in a whole nother ball. That's like putting these lasers on our fighter jets. It's going to change the face of war. But do you know why we're able to do that finally? Because they have designed a cannon that has no recoil to it. So when it fires, the leftover pressure from within the gun goes through the rifling on a cannon and goes back. So it evens out. So instead of shooting and going like boom, boom, instead of getting that recoil, all you're going to see is, at the most, you're going to see a boom, boom. You might see it barely move, but it's not going to have the recoil like the tanks of today. So the ball bearings that the gun sits on and the gyro that we use on our tank cannot withstand the pressure of a massive 155 cannon firing, because it's going to fire a few times and those ball bearings are going to be history. They can't make the ball bearing, even out of the very best new metals that's made. They can withstand that kind of firepower. That should tell you how much firepower a 155 has. So until now, it hasn't been possible to put a 155 cannon on a main battle tank like an Abram. But now it's possible because there is no recoil. You don't have all that pressure going down on those ball bearings. You got practically none. So now you're going to have a gun that can fire a whole lot faster and with a whole lot more firepower going down range. A whole lot more. I mean, that's the difference between a bullet that big and a bullet that big. You catching on? It's like comparing a 22 to a 45. There ain't no contest. Ain't no contest, baby. So I'm really glad to see our military getting all the goods. It's about time. And really, if we'd had Donald Trump in office the whole time Obama was in office, we would have already had all this stuff. The armored up vehicles that they're now fielding that can run over an AID and the troops won't get their foot blown off or anything. Those kind of things. It's just freaking awesome. I'm glad to see it. I am so happy. I've been in the military, and I can tell you that was always one of the worries, that if we had to go to war, that would be the case. And when our troops did go to war, it was the case. And because Obama didn't care about the troops. He just didn't care. They're getting blown up? Good. They're probably Christian. That's how he felt about it. And But Donald Trump cares. He cares about people. He cares about Americans. He cares about our American troops. Period. So I'm sure our troops are very happy with what they're seeing. Our generals have got to be ecstatic right now with all the new goods that they're receiving. And our Navy too. Our Navy is now, they are bringing them ships in one at a time and putting those railguns on them ships. We have fielded destroyers with the mighty railgun on them. That new big battleship destroyer that we built got a railgun on it already, right? It just came back in after its first fielding, so to speak, its trial fielding. And it's going to come back, and any kinks that got to be worked out, it's going to get worked out. But it's also getting the new railgun. And they say then it's officially 100% in service after this trip back to the docks, where it is at right now. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool that we're still going to continue to have the most advanced and absolute best military out there. And doesn't stop with that. They're going to be fielding, and are fielding right now, new ammunition for our troops. Better guns, better ammunition than even the troops that were in Iraq even saw. It'd be like me, man. When I met some of these people that were in the Iraqi war, and when I do meet them, we'll talk about things. And all the time I heard how they had this and they had that, like the 100 round clips. We didn't have those when I was in. But during the Iraqi war, all the troops got them. And I thought, well, it's about time. But do you know why we didn't have them when I was in? Because back then, they weren't reliable. They jammed a lot, the ones that were made. So when a company started finally making them reliable, that is when our military, actually our military had a thing for that, and there was a competition, and they won the contract. But once they were made reliable, that is when they were able to start putting them on the gun. So technology is always making our military better and better and better constantly. And don't ask me what that canteen number is, what's it called, M1 or M4, what, I don't remember that stuff. And for anybody that's in the military, after you've been out for a while, you're not going to remember all that stuff. You don't care. I don't care about all that crap. I don't even think about it. I know when you're in, they tell you, oh, you're going to remember this the rest of your life. But really, I only heard that term maybe 5 times the entire time I was in the military. And so it was just a non-issue when I was in there. We were busy doing other things and more important things. What I can tell you is this. Today's military under Donald Trump is going to be what it should have been all along. Our troops should be the most protected troops in those vehicles. They should have the very best of everything that they can be supplied with. Period. It shouldn't be a matter of money, because our troops the money should be there for our troops. Again, thank God we got Donald Trump elected to office. It's one of the many things that he's done and going to continue to do that are great. We have in our midst right now the greatest president that America's ever seen. Period. Better than Washington. Well, Washington, he's up there because he's the founder. He's one of the founding fathers. He's the first president. But Donald Trump is still that damn good. And it is George Washington didn't even do the many things that Trump had done. But in his time, he was like a Donald Trump, wasn't he? Sure he was. So he's got to be up there. But Donald Trump, since then, has been the absolute best president America's ever had. He's definitely got to go down as one of the greatest ever. We need to erect statues of him all over America. And that's just my thought on the matter. So God bless everybody out there. Hope you have a wonderful day. And this has been my opinion on current news and things that are going on in the world, in the United States. And I guess some over abroad. We can talk about other countries. That's okay. I think everybody can be smart enough to know that we actually need to keep up with things going on in other countries because it's very important right here in America. God bless all the people from India and the people in Canada. But I say that for the God-fearing people out there, God's family, not the other people. You know what? On that note, I'm going to talk about another subject before I let you go. This might educate you a little bit. In the Bible, God separated the languages. Okay, and I hear people say, like a lot of KKK people will say, well, I'm not really racist, but I believe that I don't believe in the intermixing of races because God separated the language at Tower of Babel. Well, I got to ask you one question here, real quick. Are you atheist? Of course, their answer is going to be, well, no, I know there's a God. I said, well, what are you talking about? I'm atheist. You've got to ask me that? Well, yeah, I got to ask you that. Because you're stupid if you're not. And I'm going to explain to you why you're stupid. Later on in the New Testament, God talks about the gay people thinking that they're smarter than everybody else, like the Christians, for example, when they're not. They're actually more ignorant. That's the way I see it. But the Christian people, whether you get it straight, God gives a warning towards about those kind of people. And that warning is pretty simple. And when you go over the New Testament, you're reading along. And this is also in the Old Testament too, by the way after the Tower of Babel, more towards the end of the Old Testament. But let me throw this at you. What people did God do that to? He did it to Satan's people. Bel, the dragon. That is who one of the people of Bel was king, and he was building the Tower of Babel. Okay, remember? We're not going to get enough technology to actually open the door to heaven. That's never going to happen, okay? God's just giving a reference, and his reference is this, that if the evil people, the people of the devil, the people of Satan, become too organized all over the earth, they were going to rule the earth at that time because they were powerful, because God was testing his people and he made it that way. He was testing his people very heavily back then. So God diversified them. So he separated them. Divide and conquer comes to mind. So he divided them up by diversifying the language. I speak English. I don't speak Spanish. I don't speak Russian. I don't speak any other language. Chinese, Japanese, I don't speak none of that. And there's people that don't speak English. That's the division of language. But God didn't do that to the Christians. He was doing it to the people of Babel, the people of Satan, the anti-Christians, so to speak. But in today's day and age, think of it this way. Times always change. Therefore, your guidelines always change. And that's all that was a guideline for that time. But also for this time, in this way, if the Christians come together, or the godly, the good people, whatever your religion is, if we come together as family, good friends, we stand strong across the earth. the evil people, we outnumber them. Period. All over the world, we outnumber them. And we cannot be stopped or beat. So, to the people of the Black Panthers, to the people that are in the KKK, and all you haters out there, you're hating for the wrong reasons. Actually, what we need to be doing is coming together. Be you Hispanic, black, white, whatever your race is. The skin tone shouldn't define the person, but rather we should come together in the eye of God. And whether you're gay or straight, it doesn't matter. I met several good gay people because they were Christian, and I was Christian, and I still am, obviously, but we get along because we're Christian. You understand? And I really kind of love those people just as anybody else that I'll ever meet that's a Christian. And I think about everybody in that way. So, but if you're an atheist, I'm not going to like you. So skin tone doesn't have anything to do with it for me. What has to do with it is your love for God. If you're a good person, I'm going to know it. If you're not, I'm going to know it ahead of time. And so we need to throw out the racism and fight against it. That's what we need to do. I don't know. Somebody needs to start up a new organization and compete against the Black Panthers and the KKK and any hate group out there that's racist. Simply by creating a group and all people of all race coming together in this group, we can combat the hate through truth. And then we can educate our people within that kind of an organization. That's what we need. And if any bunch of people out there are interested in starting up such an organization, please let me know. I'd love to be a part of that. There it is, folks. It's just simple as that. So, to all you racists out there who claim you're not racist, if you're Christian, then you should not be hating on your fellow Christian who's black or Indian or from China or wherever they're from or whatever their skin tone is. Those should be your friends and your family that you should be getting along with. You understand? And in this video right here, even, I'm fighting against the hatred out there and the bigotry because we got to put a stop to this damn racist bunch of crap because that's what it is. It's led out of stupidity. So I got to ask you, like I started this conversation with, are you stupid? Do you not understand the Bible? Do you not understand that there were bylaws that were put down 5,000 years ago that were changed 4,000 years ago? This continues throughout the Word of God in the Bible. We need an after New Testament written by someone because there's a lot of things, wacky do beliefs that people have out there, and a lot of things people don't understand about the Bible. And I think those things need to be explained. But not by somebody who believes that there is a contradiction anywhere in the Bible because they're an idiot. But it needs to be by somebody who knows God. And that's just the way it is. I'm always running into this kind of stupidity. And I got to ask you, do you know the Bible? You claim you're a Christian, but you're sprouting out hate because of somebody's skin tone, because of something that was written over 20,000 years ago. With the people pre-Noah flood, or maybe 10,000 years ago, but it was a long time ago. Those were the people of old, not the people of new. The people of new is from Noah on. And Noah and his sons had women, all of them were different colors, skin tone. And Noah and his family, according to the Bible, were whitish kind of people, Anglo type people. So there was already what you should have caught on to is that we are a family. Like if I'm Noah, I'm family with my son's black wife or his brown wife or his oriental wife or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how else to explain it to you. The good people of God are not supposed to stay diversified and divided. We're supposed to come together. All people from around the world who love God should be coming together. All against all the people who despise God. It's just that simple, folks. I hope this has helped your understanding of the Bible to raise your level of intelligence about God's Word, because God never, ever intended for there to be a KKK. Well, of course he did, because it's a lesson for people. But God does not support the KKK. There's no way. Or the Black Panthers or any other racist group out there like that, because it's only there to tempt you. What kind of person are you? You understand? You need to make up your mind whether you're going to follow God or not. And if you follow God, then you also have to admit that you are a brother with somebody that has a different skin tone who also follows God. That don't mean let them take advantage of you, because a lot of people are con men. Oh yeah, I love God. Hey man, can you give me $100? You know, no. Not saying get along with the drug dealers or users or anything like that. You know what I'm saying. And y'all need to wake up and smell the coffee. Lay down your hatred and your racism, because it should not exist among Christians. And it doesn't, I don't think. I think it only exists amongst atheists and people that are atheists are actually running these organizations, the KKK and the Black Panthers, just to make money. And they're sitting back laughing at your division. Look, I got this Christian divided from that division. Damn, we're doing a good job, buddy. And guess who those two people are going to be having the conversation? The leader of the Black Panthers and the leader of the KKK. And probably a leader from one of the Hispanic gang, racist organization, maybe from Brazil or wherever. And there you have it. They got hate groups like that in India. They got them pretty much in every single dang country, right? And what I'm telling you is, in America, that shouldn't exist. And it's born out of ignorance, and we need to become unignorant. If God didn't want us getting along with people from different skin tones, we wouldn't be able to have children together. Think about that. You can't have a child with an ape. So are you going to have sex with an ape? No. You going to marry an ape and call it your wife? No. You understand? But you can have sex with somebody with a different race and have children, because we're all just people. Like Trump said, we all bleed red. We have the same DNA. We're all mixed puppies these days. So why does racism exist? I don't understand, except for I do understand that it comes out of ignorance. It's born from ignorance. And if you claim to be a Christian, then you have no excuse for believing in a separation of races at any point in time, at any level. You cannot be against a black and a white person, or a Hispanic and a black, or Hispanic and a white, or Hispanic and Chinese getting married and having a family and loving each other. You should not be against that. It's as simple as that. And on that note, I hope I did somebody some good out there in understanding God's word, because there's so many lost people out there. So God bless everybody. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day, okay? God bless.